into my personal haze. But now that I'm back in the lights of 14th Street, tomorrow will be brighter than the good old days.
Those good old days. Hello, darling. Well, hello, darling.
Glad to see you, Hank. Let's thank my lucky star. Oh, you're looking great, Stanley. I think you lost a little bit of weight, Stanley. Isn't that right? Dolly's overjoyed and overwhelmed and quite overpowered.
I hear the eyes sing and you still get glasses from us handsome men.
To be specific, you're all terrific. Golly gee, fellas, find me a vacant knee, fellas.
Dolly, you'll never go away again.
Oh, look out, boys. I got it all on tonight. Stay out of my way. Let's bring it on home. Wow, fellas. Look at the old girl now, fellas.
In the darkest place, there's the faintest light. Gives me hope to face the hardest fight. Pain delivers me. I don't need their sympathy.
Are you sure?
'Cause they can't take away my might. Where I go, they will never find.
It's your destiny. Every pace, every stride. I am stronger. Reach up higher. Digging deeper. Found the fire. Feel enlightened. Won't be frightened anymore. I can run now. So much faster. Now defeat won't be my master. For you conquer the demons, I won't have to win any longer. I've got to be stronger. Come about. Now I'm stronger.
Hey, beautiful people. How's everybody tonight? Well, you know, before the lights went on, I could see all of you, and you just look lovely. Thank you for coming out this evening. My name is Trisha Moore, and I am the morning show host for Rewind 103.5, 104.3, and the midday host for Sunny 95. So chances are, if you listen during the workday, that would be me. And I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight. I am honored to be your MC. This is my third year, and it is one of my very favorite events. So thank you for coming out tonight to the PNC Broadway in Columbus 2019-2020 season announcement. The majority of you here tonight are our subscribers, so we want to take a moment to say thank you. And because of your support and patronage, Broadway in Columbus can bring you the best of Broadway to the beautiful Ohio and Palace theaters. Oh, you can clap, definitely. So I know it's stupid for me to even say that you're excited for the new season, right? Come on, more love, more love. There you go. So we're gonna have so much fun tonight, and before I introduce our first speaker to you, I want to take a moment for you and say, hey, guess what? You can take out your phones. So normally at this time during a show, you know, we tell you that you got to turn your phones off, and tonight that's not the case. Tonight we want you to keep the phones out. I know, yay! Silence your ringers and share what's going on tonight with all of your friends on social media because, you know, we want everybody to know how great this season is going to be. So to share your photos and thoughts when you use Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we ask that you use hashtag BWayCBusReveal on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And we love connecting with our fans here in Columbus when it comes to Broadway. And to top it off, after tonight's presentation, you want to visit the photo booth out in the lobby near the main bar and take some silly photos because we all love to do that, you know. And don't forget to use that hashtag. Once again, can you all say it with me? Hashtag BWayCBusReveal. Very nicely done. Anywho, I'm going to take a little picture right now. So, you know, I want to make all my friends jealous because it's not every day that you get to stand up here on the Ohio Theater stage. So if you could all just kind of do a little wave for me. All right. Oh, don't you look lovely? One more. Thank you very much. See, it's as simple as that, right? All right, so I've taken my selfie, and I think at this time, you really want to get on with the show, right? You're tired of hearing me talk about B-Way, whatever. Anyway, the amazing support from you, our incredible Broadway and Columbus subscribers, these unbelievable Broadway seasons would not be possible without the support of our outstanding sponsor and community partner, and that is PNC. It is my pleasure right now to introduce to you Shannon Morgan and Sandy Zimmerman from PNC Bank. Let's give them a round of applause.
Welcome. How is everyone tonight? Well, as you heard, I'm Shannon Morgan, the Director of Community Relations for PNC, and I'm delighted to be joined tonight by my colleague, Sandy Zimmerman, who leads retail banking for PNC here in Central Ohio. Sandy is also a wonderfully dedicated and proud board member for the CAPA Board of Trustees. Yeah, you can clap for that, yay!
Thank you.
So tonight, before we started, I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman named Mike, who's right over here in the front. He's been a Broadway subscriber since, get this, 1992. Yeah. Which is wonderful. And I'll tell you, at PNC, we wouldn't be able to provide this support in our community to arts and education and all the other causes we support without dedicated customers and subscribers and folks like all of you. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Sandy?
Thank you, Shannon. And you know, Shannon is right, and it's because that we have a thriving arts and cultural scene here in Columbus that really does provide significant value to our economy and to all of us who live, work, and play right here in Columbus. And as one of the region's largest corporate funders, you know, our goal at PNC is really to make art accessible for everyone. And our community allows us as PNC to do that through patronage of various arts organizations, and specifically to all of you who are subscribers to PNC Broadway in Columbus. Your help really does allow us to bring the very best in arts programming right here to Central Ohio. And I would tell you, you know, it's a virtuous circle that we promote. And for that, we just really thank you, our community, our subscribers, that we can help all of our community have access to the arts. So one of the things I am just delighted to announce tonight is our continuing support of CAPA. And through something that we are announcing tonight, you get to be the very first people to hear, we have committed to another 5 years of funding PNC Broadway in Columbus. And so really, it is together, all of us, working together as a community to bring the best of Broadway right here to Central Ohio. So on behalf of all of our colleagues at PNC, Shannon and I just really thank CAPA and thank all of you for joining us this evening. It's going to be a great night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President and CEO of CAPA, Chad Whittington.
Good evening. Is everyone excited to be here? All right. Well, we've got a great season to announce, and we're excited that you're here with us tonight. I do want to do a shout out for some loyal attendees that have attended the last couple of these that we've done. Our friends from South High, are you guys out there? All right. Thanks for being here with us again. I also want to thank PNC. Just heard from Shannon and Sandy what great supporters of the arts they are, and I want to tell you that is absolutely true. Not only furthering commitment to our presenting sponsor for the Broadway series, but they support a lot of arts programs here in Columbus, and we wouldn't have the arts community that we do without PNC. So another round of applause for them. I also want to mention that this year we are celebrating CAPA's 50th anniversary. It was, sure. It was 1969 when literally the wrecking ball was out in front of the Ohio Theater where we're at now. And can you imagine if that had gone through and we'd lost this beautiful theater? It's hard for me to imagine. So I'm glad we're here 50 years later, celebrating not only what we do here in the Ohio Theater, but a lot of other things that CAPA does as well. If you'd like to learn more about that and the great story that led to the saving of the Ohio Theater, you can visit our website, CAPA.com. And there are also a number of 50th anniversary events that we're doing all throughout the year. Some of those free community give back, so we can thank all of you for 50 years of support. So again, visit our website to learn more about those. In addition to celebrating our 50th anniversary, we've also got a lot to celebrate with the 1819 PNC Broadway in Columbus series that we're in the middle of now. As most of you probably know, we opened the season with a magical engagement of Disney's Aladdin. Fun fact about that show, the genie that you saw here in Columbus just a few months ago is now the genie that's performing in New York on Broadway. After that, we had a sold-out run of Hamilton. Did anybody see that show? Then just a few weeks ago, we had Rent over at the Palace. And the season's not over yet. We've still got 3 amazing productions to go. We've got the hilarious The Play That Goes Wrong, Betty Buckley starring in Hello, Dolly, and the magical Finding Neverland. I hope many of you will be joining us at those shows over the next couple of months. CAPA and Broadway in Columbus also continue to celebrate arts education. It's very important to us. It's very important to what we do here in Columbus. Over the years, through the generous donations of our subscribers, folks like you, we have helped to provide thousands of Central Ohio students with subsidized or free tickets. In many cases for these students, it's their first experience in the theater. So think back to a moment to your first experience or an early experience and how magical that is for you. Through your help, we are able to create that experience for many students here throughout Central Ohio. This year alone, we had over 500 subsidized tickets for Aladdin, and then with your contributions, we helped to send 50 students to Hamilton at absolutely no cost to those students. I think some of those students are here tonight. Did you guys have a good time at Hamilton? All right, just wanted to make sure. With your help and support, we want to continue to make memories for the students here in Central Ohio and to grow the next generation of passionate Broadway supporters. Another reason to celebrate this year, it's the inaugural year for the CAPA Marquee Awards. The CAPA Marquee Awards are a regional awards program of the Jimmy Awards. The Jimmy Awards are a musical theater program for high school students with the mission to celebrate, support, and advocate for high school musical theater education. And we're delighted that here in this first year, we've got 10 Central Ohio schools that are participating in the CAPA Marquee Awards. So what's that mean? And here's how it works. We've got 3 adjudicators from the program that go out to each of the 10 schools. They see their musical. This takes place this spring. They evaluate the show. They provide feedback to the students. And then they score those musicals in 10 different categories. And on May 7th, we will announce the nominees for the CAPA Marquee Awards in those 10 categories. And then on June 3rd, we have a red carpet ceremony. Think the Tonys on the Columbus level. And we'll pick winners in each of those 10 categories. Really marvelous thing about that, students selected as Best Actor in a Leading Role and Best Actress in a Leading Role then get the opportunity to go to New York as official Jimmy Award nominees. They spend a week on a CAPA-sponsored trip with winners from all the other regions around the country, and then they get to perform at the national level at the Jimmy Awards on June 24th. So really great opportunity. What we've learned over the last couple of months as adjudicators have gone out is that we've got really incredible talent right here in our high school theater programs in Central Ohio. I don't want you to have to take my word for it, though. It's my pleasure to introduce students from 6 of the 10 schools participating in the 2019 CAPA Marquee Awards. They are accompanied and conducted by Charity Keller, and they are going to perform for you now. Enjoy.
Sunday
Now, the host of PNC Broadway and Columbus's Broadway Dish, the lovely Lisa Minkin.
Hey everyone, weren't those students amazing? We're so lucky to have such talent right here in our backyard. Now I have a question for you. Who here loves Broadway? All right, I like that answer. Now who here watches Broadway Dish? Well, I like that answer too. I feel maybe not everyone answered. I just want you to know that Columbus Navigator calls it super charming, and no, my parents don't work for Columbus Navigator. So every Friday on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube pages, we release new video episodes which feature the latest Broadway news, gossip, and behind-the-scenes footage. And this has been a pretty amazing year for Broadway Dish. We celebrated our 100th episode by asking our fans to submit some fun lip-sync videos. And if you go back and look at it, you'll see one Chad Whittington in the video as well. We have visited the Broadway.com studios in New York City, where we interviewed Major Attaway, who at the time was starring as the genie in Aladdin on Broadway. And we put Hamilton and Burr up to another duel with our popular co-star quiz when the show was here in February. And I can't forget about my Carpool Karaoke series, which are some of my very favorite episodes, where I take cast members on a drive out around Columbus, showing them our beautiful city, and we sing some show tunes along the way. And this year, besides touring cast members, we had two very special guests, Mr. Jack Hanna from the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, and Andrew Levitt, who some of you may know better as Nina West. Now, before I show you a little video recap of Broadway Dish's past year, who was here last year and remembers that we maybe had a few technical issues? So I have been assured that this year all of the videos and sound will work, but I don't think it will hurt just to, spread a little more luck to the video equipment. So if everyone can join me, raise your hands in the air, spread your fingers apart. Let's give some jazz hands to all the video equipment for some good theater luck. Okay. Let's see the video.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa, Broadway girl extraordinaire and
April Fools.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa, Broadway fangirl extraordinaire, and thanks for joining me for another episode of PNC Broadway and Columbus's Broadway Dish.
We're going to serve you up piping hot Broadway news and gossip from New York, take you behind the scenes here at the Ohio Theater and Palace Theater, and have a lot of Broadway fun along the way.
Edred Utomi and Josh Tower play the epic duo of Hamilton and Burr, so we put them to the test with our co-star quiz.
You're gonna
see. This is very Burr and Hamilton. Burr was concise and short. Hamilton, long-winded. That's it.
I'm gonna go pick up my friend Andrew Levitt so we can tell you more about it.
I went in drag to Hamilton on Broadway.
Stop!
I won't stop. I will not stop.
Director Emeritus, Mr. Jack Hanna. And so do you have a favorite show?
Oh yeah, Jersey Boys.
I just happen to have some music from that show.
No, you don't.
Walk like a man, talk like a man, walk like a man, my son.
Life is short.
Oh no.
We're growing older.
My cup of tea.
We're mad. Jot it down. You ain't never had a friend like me.
You guys, this has been so much fun. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Lisa.
See you again next week.
And
Bye.
Bye. And I'll try and be a better singer later.
So for those of you who haven't watched Broadway Dish, now is the time to start because we will be filming a future episode right here after the season reveal. So please find myself and my amazing camera person, Lydia, after the show. She'll be the one with the camera, hard to miss. Now, since you've all promised to start watching Broadway Dish, let's go to the moment that you have all been waiting for. Are your phones at the ready? Make sure you're bragging to all your friends that you are here tonight. Remember to use that hashtag BWayCBusReveal. Now, here to help me reveal PNC Broadway and Columbus's 2019-2020 season, one of the biggest Broadway and Columbus fans that I know, a multi-Emmy award-winning reporter from ABC 6 and Fox 28 News, and my dear friend, Mike McCarthy.
Come on!
Anything to get those ratings, huh, Mike?
I don't know how that got on there. We'll keep this handy in case that crowd needs a little more gumption. Prove to me you can make some noise tonight. Come on, Ohio Theater. All right.
Are you ready to announce some shows?
Oh my gosh, I am so ready, and I am so excited because I think we can all really agree that anytime you come to the beautiful Ohio Theater or the Palace Theater or the Southern Theater, the theatrical experience is without a doubt truly magical. And this past season, or this current season really, has so many magical moments in it. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how they made that carpet fly up here.
They wouldn't tell me either.
I know.
Rude.
It's a Disney magic.
That's right, Disney
so
magic.
they say. But I think you guys are tired of hearing about this amazing current season, right? And you'd like to see maybe what's coming next year? All right, so to steal a line from you and your Broadway and Columbus Broadway Dish, let's dive right in.
I think we will. So in our 1920 season, we have some pretty impressive statistics. There will be 6 shows this season once again. 2 of those 6 shows are coming straight off Broadway. And Columbus audiences will be the first in the state to see 3 of our shows next season. So they make their Ohio premieres right here on the stage of the Ohio Theater. Pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
Are you ready to find out the first show? You know, I think we should let the show's creator do the honors.
Ooh, who's that?
You'll find out.
Hey friends, I'm Tina Fey, and I am so excited that my musical Mean Girls will be coming to Columbus as part of its first national tour. You know, 21 Pilots and Guy Fieri are from Columbus, so they might be there. See you at the Ohio Theater this October.
I want to talk about Mean Girls.
Mean Girls. It was very fetch.
That's a party.
A revenge party, a party that ends with somebody's head on a spike.
Yes, it's the most exciting thing we've ever done. I mean, I was a theater kid in high school and a nerd, and so I don't have the skills to actually be on Broadway. So this is my chance to be a part of Broadway. Was writing this show with my husband and with another woman named Nell Benjamin, and yeah, they're just like the greatest, most talented people you'll ever meet.
Everybody wants connection. Yes, I know they have their friends. But what is one friend more? 'Cause I know they know this feeling. So I brush off their rejection at our core. We can't ignore.
Welcome to North Shore High.
I think they're excited.
I'm getting that feeling. On October 22nd through 27th, you can sit with us as Mean Girls makes its Ohio debut right here at the Ohio Theater.
So clearly there are some people in the audience who know a thing or two about this show based upon the reaction that we just got. But for those of you who don't know, it's based on the popular movie of the same name. Tina Fey's Mean Girls is now a Broadway hit musical. It tells the story of Katie Heron, who may have grown up on the African savannah, but she quickly learns, that nothing has prepared her for the wild and the vicious ways of her strange new home, Illinois. How will this naive newbie rise to the top of the popularity pecking order of high school? Yikes. By taking on the Plastics, a trio of lionized frenemies led by the charming but ruthless Regina George. But when Katie devises a plan to end Regina's reign, she learns the hard way that you cannot cross the queen bee without getting stung. As the school dissolves into chaos, the students are called for an assembly in the gym where Katie's friend Janice delivers a powerful rebuke to Regina George and the mean girl culture of North Shore High. And here to perform that song right now, I'd Rather Be Me as Janice. Please welcome, direct from the Broadway company, T. Boyage.
So your best friend screwed you over, acted nice when she not nice. Well, I have some advice, cause it's happened to me twice. Here's my secret strategy, it always works because the world doesn't end, it just feels like it does. So raise your right finger and solemnly swear whatever they say about me, I don't care. I won't twist in knots to join your game. I will say you make me mad, and if you treat me bad, I'll say you're bad. And if I eat alone from this moment on, then that's just what I'll do. Cause I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you. We're supposed to all be ladies and like be nurturing and care. And is that really fair? No, boys get to fight and we have to share. And here's the way that that turns out. We always understand how to slap someone down with our underhand. So here's my right finger. Tell girls should behave. Cause sometimes what's meant to break you just makes you brave. So I will not act all innocent. I won't fake apologize. So let's just fight and then make up, not tell these lies. Let's call our damage even, clean the slate till it's like new. It's a new life for me, where I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you. I'll say knock it off with your notes and your rules and your games. And those sycophants who follow you, I'll remember all your names. And when they drag you down like they inevitably do, I will not laugh along with them or prove their polished coup, cause that's not me. I don't need their good opinions, I have plenty of opinions. Everybody has opinions, but it doesn't make them true. What's true is being me, and I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you. So raise them high, 'cause playing nice and shy is insulting my IQ. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me than be with you.
Wow. You go, Glen Coco.
That was a pretty amazing performance.
I can't wait to see the show for sure. It looks fantastic.
Now, many of you are familiar with the movie, but did you know that Mean Girls actually began with a book called Queen Bees and Wannabes? It's a self-help book for parents trying to, help their daughter survive the cliques of high school gossip and boyfriends.
How'd your parents deal with that?
I They did pretty good.
They did pretty well. No easy task, though, parents, we all know. And over the years, people kept telling Tina Fey that, you really should take this Mean Girls movie and turn it into a musical. Well, the timing was right in 2013 because that's when 30 Rock, her hit TV show, came to an end. And her husband, whose name is Jeff Richmond, who wrote the music that you just heard and all the music for the show, they saw the musical The Book of Mormon, and that's when they really finally became inspired to figure out how to take the story of Mean Girls from the movie to the stage.
Now, last spring, I had the honor of sitting in during a creative conversation where the whole creative team was sharing insights about the show. And Tina was talking about that it took her 5 years to write the book for the musical and joked, as only Tina Fey can, that she wasn't even sure what a book writer was initially, or what they did. So she resorted to, that very true source, Wikipedia, for a little research.
Trust it all the time.
Exactly. And I think she did a pretty amazing job figuring it out, because while the show is certainly hilarious with all the lines and characters you know and love from the movie, it is so full of heart.
And it did pretty well. It only got 12 Tony nominations, for goodness sake, and it's coming to us direct from Broadway. This show is so fetch.
Mike, stop trying to make fetch happen.
Hey, you can only try.
So are you ready for our next show? Next up, we have a musical that was recently revived on Broadway, known as one of the greatest Broadway love stories of all time. The heat is on with Miss Saigon. It closes out our season June 9th through 14th at the Ohio Theater. This is a story of a young Vietnamese woman named Kim who was orphaned by war and forced to work in a bar run by a notorious character known as the Engineer. There she meets and falls in love with an American GI, an encounter that will change their lives forever, featuring stunning spectacle and a sensational cast of 42 performing the soaring score, including Broadway hits like The Heat is On in Saigon, The Movie in My Mind, Last Night of the World, and American Dream. This is a theatrical event you will not forget.
Miss Saigon is an honest and powerful experience that portrays the perils of a war-torn country through a love story about separation and sacrifice. The idea for the show began with the discovery of just a picture, a photograph depicting a Vietnamese mom leaving her child at a U.S. airbase near Saigon during the Vietnam War. The child was supposed to get on a plane heading to the States to live with her American GI father. This narrative reminded the Miss Saigon creative team of Puccini's opera, Madame Butterfly. It's a love story between an American GI and a Japanese geisha who are separated against their wishes. Miss Saigon combines the two tales in an epic musical that reminds us all about the perils of war and the strength we can all find in love.
It was originally on Broadway in 1991, and this revival is refocused and more authentic, earning it a Tony nomination for Best Revival of a Musical in 2017. The creative team felt the need to revive this musical for today's audiences because there's a deeper connection to the story now and our world's reality.
And if you've seen the show before, there is a big reason you should be interested in seeing it when it comes back to Columbus. It's because Claude Michel Schoenberg and Alain Boublil have made numerous lyric changes throughout the entire score. What they've done And this is really cool. They've actually incorporated Vietnamese lyrics that were offered to the creative team by Vietnamese cast members of the show. And the set itself is simply incredible. It's got some new additions, including a giant Statue of Liberty head, easy to guess maybe where we'll see that, and also a helicopter that you will swear is gonna come down from right up there.
That's right. And we are so excited that we are able to include this amazing show in our season. So let's go on to the next show, shall we?
We shall. You guys want to hear?
Yeah! Our next musical is a Broadway favorite and was written by the same creative team as Miss Saigon. It is the 5th longest running Broadway musical and the longest running musical in the world, for good reason. It's the reimagined tour of Les Misérables.
You will hear the people sing right here at the Ohio Theater November 19th through November 24th. Famed producer Karen McIntosh presents the new production of the Tony Award-winning musical phenomenon Les Misérables. Set against the backdrop of 19th century France, Les Misérables tells an unforgettable story of heartbreak, passion, and the resilience of the human spirit. Featuring so many beloved songs, right? I Dreamed a Dream, On My Own, Stars, Bring Him Home, One Day More, and the list goes on and on and on. This epic and uplifting story has become one of the most celebrated musicals in theatrical history. With its glorious new staging and some amazingly reimagined scenery, which were actually inspired by the paintings of Victor Hugo. This breathtaking new production has left both audiences and critics awestruck. Don't take my word for it. Take a look.
There's something about this material that will work, whether it's in a schoolroom, in a concert hall, or on the stage, and that's very, very rare for any musical. It requires truth. You obviously have to be able to sing it, but truth and passion is what matters, and imagination.
The very moment you're writing something, if you don't feel that you're writing the most beautiful thing in the world, you never start.
It felt like we were ourselves writing the novel again in a different medium. And when we got to the end, we thought that we had something that was worth playing to other people because we enjoyed listening to it ourselves.
We've been doing the show now for a few years, and there's been so many companies, but every production is unique, and that, I think, is what's so wonderful about it.
What's new is who's playing what role and what they bring to that.
The cast get to stand on stage and ask questions of the audience. You know, what would you have done in our position, and what do you want to be different in your world?
This is a novel that's about the human condition. This can exist at any time, anywhere. It's who we are.
I love him, I love him, I love him.
Most of what we're trying to find is the stakes of the production. It's an epic tale, and you're dealing with literally life and death constantly from top to bottom, all the way through the whole thing.
Ultimately, the piece at its heart is about redemption. And I think from Victor Hugo's time to now, we see things that get in our lives that really break us at times. And I think what the show does is it shows you that the human spirit is greater than that.
All this has made a complete, very different new production. It's very exciting, you know, to see another production of that caliber happen during your lifetime. It doesn't happen often.
None of us did it in order to change people's lives, but the show has changed people's lives, not only our own, but far more importantly, it's something that people have clung on to and will celebrate for as long as people ever go to the musical theatre.
Les Mis has been translated into 22 different languages with productions in 44 countries. It's been seen by nearly, get this, 70 million people worldwide. With those impressive numbers, it's really hard to believe that the original show in 1985 was really coolly received by critics. Les Mis, the world's longest-running musical, has certainly proved those critics wrong. You know, and part of the musical's success is due to the source material, the novel written by Victor Hugo, which is still relevant today.
But what makes this current production that's going to come here to Columbus so cool is that it uses more than just Hugo's novel as the inspiration and the subject matter for the show. It incorporates his artwork, too, into how the show looks, into its design. Now, if you're like me, you had absolutely no idea on earth that Victor Hugo ever painted, but Les Mis' set and image designer, Matt Kinley, had, kind of heard that maybe Hugo had dibbled and dabbled onto something, but once he really started to research exactly what Hugo had created with his art, he was really impressed, and nothing quite prepared him at all for the images that he would find when he was doing the research to create this show. In Hugo's paintings and drawings, the set and the image designer found a body of work that was both somber, but also was beautiful in its colors, in the color palette, and how it happened to just perfectly embody so many characters in the show. Hugo actually kept his paintings and drawings away from the public eye in fear that it would actually distract from his writing.
But this new production is the perfect opportunity to display Victor Hugo's full artistic range. I doubt that he could have ever imagined that his genius would be summed up in a 2.5-hour musical. We certainly hope that you will fall in love with this tale of love and revolution all over again. So now we're officially halfway through our 6-show season. Who is ready to hear the next show? Mike needs his prop.
So I wrote this sign, obviously, but this next show really makes me want to just kind of take out a journal and write down, today's going to be a great day. And they know why. The 6-time Tony Award-winning musical Dear Evan Hansen is coming here to Columbus.
That's right. Dear Evan Hansen will be found at the Ohio Theater on September 17th through 22nd, and I can't imagine a better way to kick off our brand new season. Dear Evan Hansen tells the story of a letter that was never meant to be seen, a lie that was never meant to be told, and a life Evan Hansen never dreamed he could have. Evan is about to get the one thing he's always wanted, a chance to fit in. Dear Evan Hansen is a deeply personal and profoundly contemporary musical about life and the way we live it. Here's a sneak peek.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear? Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and
I want you to know this is a compliment when I say I started crying in the first song, and I did not stop.
you will be found.
think a show like Dear Evan Hansen can start a great dialogue about being your authentic self, which is a really hard thing to find and to be. It can start conversations about the importance of actual human connection.
The Tony Award goes to Dear Evan Hansen.
So the composers of Dear Evan Hansen are two guys named Benj Pasek and Justin Paul. If you're not familiar with this particular show, you may be familiar with their work, though. If you saw a little movie called The Greatest Showman or some small movie called La La Land, they were also involved in the music for those motion pictures. And when they were asked, you know, where in the world did you guys come up with such an original concept for something like Dear Evan Hansen and how this all originated, Benj said that it actually came out of his own high school experience. When he met Justin in college and the two began working together, that moment from Benj's high school days just stuck with him, and they started to kind of kick around the ideas about how they could actually put that experience on stage and also make it relatable for just so many people.
So another way they relate is through social media, and that's a creative, important way Dear Evan Hansen's story is told. Stephen Levinson, the show's book writer, compares the use of social media to Bye Bye Birdie when they're using the telephones in the telephone hour. They're not just using the telephones to talk about the telephone, they're using them because that's how their world functions. And if Dear Evan Hansen tried to tell its story today without cell phones and social media, there would be a real inauthenticity about the show. Social media is a true storytelling device weaved throughout the show.
We are so excited to have this incredible Tony Award-winning show coming here to Columbus with just such incredible music. And speaking of music, if you are completely engrossed in this show, as I think a couple of people here are, the song we saw in the promotional video is outstanding, but I would hunch or give a guess or have a hunch rather that there's probably one song you would really like to hear tonight. And if you're unfamiliar with this show, there was one song that will have you eagerly lining up to buy tickets. And here to sing that song, direct from the Toronto company of Dear Evan Hansen, is Josh Strobel as Evan Hansen singing Waving Through a Window.
To slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make the mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no slipping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window. I try to
to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass. I'm waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? We start with stars in our eyes. We start believing that we belong, but every sun doesn't rise, and no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear while I'm watching people pass, waving through a window. Oh, can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me? Is anybody waving? Whoa, whoa.
Wow.
Man, I love that song.
Thank you so much, Josh, for that incredible performance. How amazing was he? So, a little fun fact. Remember earlier when Chad was mentioning the Jimmy Awards, the High School Musical Theater Award program in New York? Josh actually won the Jimmy Awards in 2016.
Very awesome. You can tell why.
Just a little.
Yeah.
All right. The next show is currently being revived on Broadway. It will leave you wanting to dance all night. It's Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady will be a lovely time, of course, and it makes its Ohio premiere right here at the Ohio Theater next March. It runs the 11th through the 15th. From Lincoln Center Theater and director Bartlett Shear comes Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady, boasting a ton of classic songs. We could just have a sing-along in here, for goodness sake, with all the hits in this song. Probably not you and me, but obviously they include I Could Have Danced All Night, The Rain in Spain, and Wouldn't It Be Lovely. My Fair Lady tells the story of Eliza Doolittle, a young Cockney flower seller, and Henry Higgins, a linguistics professor who is determined to transform her into his idea of a proper lady, but who is being really transformed. Let's take a look. So odds are you may know this show, but you may not know that it took a long time, many and many years, to get My Fair Lady to actually be originally created. The musical is based on George Bernard Shaw's play, Pygmalion. After another one of Shaw's plays was turned into a musical, which he considered to be absolutely terrible, Shaw refused to let anyone else touch his work for any sort of adaptation. Well, he finally agreed, though, to let film producer Gabriel Pascal to make a movie out of Pygmalion, which received international acclaim, and it also, probably more importantly, got Shaw's approval. It wasn't until after Shaw's death, though, that Pascal began to entertain offers of making Pygmalion into a musical. Pascal turned away a long list of people: Frank Lesser, Cole Porter, Irving Berlin, and even the duo Rodgers and Hammerstein.
So finally, Pascal approached Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Loewe. They were appealing to him because they wrote Brigadoon. Sure. Because of this, he felt that they could manage what he considered the Englishness of Pygmalion. So they went to work on the show, but problems arose and the writing duo parted ways. However, time passed and the team reunited and started work on the show once more, and I am certainly glad that they did.
You and a lot of people in here, I'm sure. While some previous productions focus on Henry Higgins and taking Eliza and totally molding her into what he envisions a proper lady to be, this production is different, and it gives you a whole new reason to see it for sure. Bartlett Shear in this show emphasizes that it is in fact Eliza that goes out and seeks out Henry Higgins and offers to pay him to help her improve her status in life. And Eliza stands up to Henry in this production as well, and her transformation in this show happens on her own terms. And I won't give anything away, but there is something that happens at the end, and it's a very powerful statement that really kind of caps off this production in a whole new way too. My Fair Lady is an absolutely beautiful show, and I certainly hope you all come back here and see it. Well, now, we're going to go from England to Russia as we introduce our final reveal, and it is another Ohio premiere. That's my line, isn't it?
Yes, would you like to tell them what it is?
It's Anastasia.
Inspired by the beloved films, the romantic and adventure-filled musical Anastasia is on a journey to the Ohio Theater at last from January 28th through February 2nd.
See, now I'm paying attention. It says Mike. From the Tony Award-winning creators of the Broadway classic Ragtime, this dazzling Tony-nominated show transports us from the twilight of the Russian Empire to the euphoria of Paris in the 1920s, as a brave young woman sets out to discover the mystery of her past. Pursued by a ruthless Soviet officer determined to silence her, Anya enlists the aid of a dashing conman and a lovable ex-aristocrat. Together, they embark on an epic adventure to find her home, love, and family. Let's get a sneak peek of the adventurous journey that is Anastasia.
Act one begins the end of an old regime, and then that society transitions into a very oppressive society, modern Soviet society. And then in the second act, they go to Paris, early 1920s. The arts, liberalism was exploding, and I thought that would make a wonderful pair of bookends to tell her story.
For Russia, it's not so much the glamour times, it's communist Russia, so it's more neutral colors and desaturated colors.
We began listening to a lot of Russian music for Act One, a lot of Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev.
The challenge and the beauty of writing for the stage is writing songs that tell the story.
It was important to me that the royal family was sort of this beautiful, crystallized, almost ghostly presence. Historically, Tsarina, the ball gowns that she wore were covered in real diamonds. It would have been worth millions.
Act two is set in Paris during the Jazz Age, so we get to go crazy because we're going into this completely new and very modern Jazz Age world.
The visual palette of Paris in the 1920s is extraordinary in every way, especially as far as costuming and the representation of the human body.
It was important to me that everything was a springtime palette. Everything is lightweight. We see skin, we see arms, we see bodies underneath.
With the LED screens, which we embedded not only on the back wall, but in the side turntables, it really gives a vast variety of looks. This show couldn't have happened 2 years ago. The technology's finally caught up to where we can really manipulate it and integrate it.
We have a lot of surprises up our sleeves.
This truly is a beautiful show, from the costuming to the music and, of course, the story. But for those of you who are familiar with the animated movie musical of Anastasia, don't expect the Broadway musical storyline to be exactly the same. The beloved songs like Journey to the Past and Once Upon a December are still, of course, in the musical, but Tony-winning playwright Terrence McNally wrote a whole new story that is deeply rooted in the history of the Russian Revolution, which puts Anya's story into motion.
The show is adapted from the legend of the Grand Duchess Anastasia of Russia, who escapes the execution of her family during the Russian Revolution of 1917. The mystery behind her escape and disappearance has fascinated writers for over a century and has inspired this show, which we are, of course, so eager for you to see. There are 16 new songs in the show. There's a new bad guy, a new antagonist character, and a historic realism about the show that really makes this version just seemingly really come to life.
And the sets and costumes in the show are just stunning. Now let's just take a second to chat about the more than 125 different costumes that are in the show. There's, of course, Anastasia's iconic deep royal blue dress adorned with jewels that she wears to the ballet, and another dazzling red and gold gown with this amazing tiara that I would like to get my hands on. And one of the most impressive costumes in the show you saw in that video. It's worn by the Tsarina in the beginning of the show, who is dressed in this white, beautiful gown just embellished and encrusted with jewels. That dress weighs 50 pounds.
Wow. Equally impressive, I just can't, 50 pounds?
Could you imagine singing and dancing with 50 pounds?
My suit weighs like 5, and I'm out of breath walking out here from the wings. So equally impressive is the show's gorgeous music. Anastasia's composers are a powerhouse duo, no question about it. They have won a Tony for, of course, the best score in ragtime, and they won another Tony recently for the revival of Once on This Island, It features all the music you love from the movie, plus the new songs that were written just for the stage. Again, 16 new songs.
Now, speaking of the music, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a real treat this evening. Tonight, to show our appreciation for being subscribers and to celebrate CAPA's 50th anniversary, to perform from Anastasia, we have the talented and amazing young woman who just last night, as in yesterday, took her final bow in the title role of Anastasia. It is my great honor to introduce Broadway star Christy Altamore.
They said I was found by the side of a road. There were tracks all around. It had recently snowed. In the darkness and cold, with the wind in the trees, a girl with no name and no memories but these. Rain against a window, sheets upon a bed, terrifying nurses whispering overhead. Call the child Anya, give the child a hat. I don't know a thing before that. Traveling the back roads, sleeping in the wood, taking what I needed, working when I could, keeping up my courage, foolish as it seems, at night all alone in my dreams. In my dreams, shadows call there's a light at the end of a hall. Then my dream fade away. But I know it all will come back one day. I dream of a city beyond all compare. Is it Paris? Paris, a beautiful river, a bridge by a square, and I hear a voice whisper, I'll meet you right there in Paris. Paris. You don't know what it's like not to know who you are, to have lived in the shadows and traveled this far. I've seen flashes of fire, heard the echo of screams, but I still have this faith in the truth of my dreams. In my dreams, it's all real, and my heart has so much to reveal. And my dreams seem to say, don't be afraid to go on. Don't give up hope, come what may. I know it all will come back one day. Now I'm going to sing one more song for you guys tonight, and thank you so much for having me. This song is one of my favorite songs in the show. It comes at the very end of Act 1, and it's the moment in the show where Anya goes from fear and not knowing whether she wants to go on this journey to find out who her family is, to realizing she has no choice but to take that next step. Here goes. Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here. People always say life is full of choices. No one ever mentions fear or how the world can seem so fast on a journey to the somewhere down this road, I know someone's waiting. Years of dreams just can't be wrong. Arms will open wide. I'll be safe and wanted. Finally home where I belong. Well, starting now, I'm learning fast on this journey to the home, love, family. There was once a time I must have had them too. Oh, love, family. till I find you. One step at a time, one hope then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future, things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign, let this road be mine, let it lead me to my past and bring me home.
Keep it going for Christy. How awesome was she? Holy moly. Okay, so true story, she's probably a little tired because she got tied up on all those delays at all the airports today, and she just landed a little bit ago. Could you spare a few more minutes for us to ask you a couple quick questions?
I
Would
would
you
be
mind?
honored.
All right. Would that be okay with you guys too? Would you like to hear a little bit? All right.
I should also announce our piano player, Caleb Hoyer, came in too, and he was also played in our pit during Anastasia
Oh,
on
that's so
Broadway.
awesome. One more round of applause. That is fantastic.
He's amazing.
You both sounded so wonderful. Okay, so we all are really familiar with Anastasia just from obviously the really hit popular movie that came out. And for folks who aren't necessarily familiar with this show and this version, you clearly are because you spent a couple years in the production.
A little bit of
For
understanding.
folks who don't know this version, what are they going to love about this version compared to what they already know and are already so familiar with?
I think what's so beautiful about this particular version, it's like the animated classic, if you grew up with it and you know it from when you were younger, it's almost like the show grows up for that generation and that audience. We've done some interesting things where we really focus a little bit more on the history of Anastasia was a real person that existed. The Romanovs were real people within the context of now this fairy tale that we're telling. So you'll see a little bit of the history of the communist Russian Revolution. Our bad guy's no longer Rasputin. He's now this menacing but sexy character, Gleb, who has a little bit of a love triangle with Anya. You'll also see there's no more there's no more Bartok. It's a little bit more rooted in reality, but yet within the context of this beautiful fairy tale.
So Ohio plays an important part on your journey to Broadway because you studied at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
We love some Ohio ties.
Yes.
Now we have some amazing high school students here tonight from South High School.
Hi, South High School. There you are.
And some of them aspire to have a career in theater. What is the one piece of advice that you've received that you would like to share with them?
Having to do with moving on in your career. Honestly, the best piece of advice that I could give you guys if you want to do musical theater, if you do end up going to college or don't end up going to college, you know, I honestly don't think it matters. I think it's really just about studying. So there's many avenues at which you can study your craft, but it's about not getting distracted. I think a lot of the time when you're young, you do want to have fun and you do want to have a good time, but now's the time to really put your head down to the books, focus on the craft, and also a lot of times what'll happen is, especially if you go to a college or a program, they only have a certain set amount of shows, and don't feel bad if you don't get the part you want, because the joy of studying for musical theater is the learning aspect of it. And honestly, for me, I didn't get cast in too much at school, but I was at an incredible program, and the real lessons were in the classroom, and I learned so much there. And then when I graduated, I had every single tool I needed to move forward. So just study.
You didn't get cast much? Did I hear you just say that right?
Well, there's a lot of my school's a really good school.
I know it is fantastic. I'm sorry, I was just really surprised by that because you're amazing.
Thank you.
So you've been with Anastasia for a long time. You did the pre-out-of-town run, and then you've been with it for 2 years.
Yes.
Ah, you're done now. What's next? Do you have an idea yet?
I have a lot of thoughts. One is I just got engaged in December.
Hey, there you go.
So
congratulations. That's very
I'm
exciting.
going to plan a wedding. I'm also a singer-songwriter, so I'm going to work on an album of my music, and I've got a few things waiting in the wings, but coming up down the pike. So stuff in the next year. Yeah. I can't divulge.
I know it's really early, but when would you have an idea of when your album would be out? Because I know I'd be looking for that. Your album?
Oh, my album. Look for something within the next 4 months. Cool. This month is going to be all month writing, and then the next month recording and stuff like that.
I think you're going to see a lot of sales in Columbus.
Yeah.
It is such an honor to have you with us tonight, and we can't wait to see what the future has in store for you.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so much for joining us. People, isn't she amazing?
One more round of applause.
Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm back. Oh my gosh, are you excited? I mean, wow. I'm Trisha Moore from Sunny 95, just in case you forgot after all the excitement this evening. And let's give a big round of applause once again for Christy. How amazing to have her in Columbus tonight. Yeah. So we have a pretty amazing, incredible next season, don't we? Yeah, but you know what? There's 2 more shows. I know, I'm so excited. I actually get to tell you about a couple of them. So, on top of the 6 phenomenal shows in our 2019-20 season, you're also going to have the opportunity to see the Tony Award-winning, are you ready? Jersey Boys. Yeah. Jersey Boys will return to Columbus, stepping onto the stage at the Palace Theater January 10th and 11th of 2020. And your second option is a very popular one. In fact, your friends are going to be green with envy when they find out you have a ticket to Wicked. That's right, Wicked flies back to the Ohio Theater April 22nd through May 17th of 2020. So, let's take one more look at the unbelievable 2019-2020 PNC Broadway in Columbus season.
Now that's a party.
Without him, the world around me changes. The trees are bare and everywhere the streets are full of strangers.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage President and CEO of CAPA, Chad Whittington.
right, it's going to be a great season, isn't it? All right. Well, you know, every year they come out here, they announce the great new season, and you know what? Lisa has never let me announce a show. I just don't think it's fair. I am the CEO after all, so what do you say that we sneak peek a show from our 2021 season? I think I'll let some friends help me share the news.
Hi, I'm Nick Marson.
I'm Diane Marson.
We are both characters in Come From Away, the hit musical on Broadway.
And it's coming your way, Columbus. Watch for us. 2021. We'll be there.
All right, we are super excited to announce that Come From Away will be part of our 2021 season. I love that show personally. And we noticed that many of you love it too. On our subscriber surveys, we saw a lot of people that asked for that show. So excited that it will be coming and something for us all to look forward to in 2021. Now I know after seeing all the great shows that we're bringing next year, many of you want to get your season subscription signed up right away. And lucky for you, you can do that tonight. Our knowledgeable CAPA Ticket Center associates will be around after the event to sign you up for next season. There'll be tables out in the lobby, in the pavilion, and here on stage as well. If you don't renew tonight, or if you're on the live stream with us, you can also go to broadwayandcolumbus.com on your computer or smartphone and renew. And beginning tomorrow morning, you can call the subscriber hotline or visit the CAPA Ticket Center 6 days a week to do your renewals. Just remember, the renewal deadline is May 9th, so if you want to get the same seats that you've got, make sure and sign up by May 9th. You've also got the opportunity to participate in our payment plan with 3 no-charge installments. If you're thinking about upgrading your seats, go ahead and renew the subscription you've got. And then once we get past the May 9th deadline, you'll be given the opportunity to change your seats or upgrade your seats before subscriptions go on sale to the public. Public on sale date for new subscriptions will be June 13th. If you want to be the first to know about those opportunities for new subscriptions, go to broadwayandcolumbus.com, click the subscriber tab, and then there's a wait list button you can click on and let us know how to get a hold of you, and we'll let you know when those subs become available. We don't want you to miss a moment of our 1920 season, so please sign up tonight. And now, certainly last but not least, we've got dessert. We've got some delicious treats from LA Catering, our friends at LA Catering, out in the pavilion and here on stage as well. So come join us, enjoy a few treats, renew your subscription. Appreciate everyone being here with us tonight, and we look forward to next season. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of the Broadway and Columbus 2019-2020 reveal. Give us about 3 minutes and we will see you with some themed desserts for our season in the pavilion and on stage. Just give us about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Now you know, Caddy, Regina George is not your friend. We're your friends, and we're gonna make her pay. You know what friends do? They got your back, and they are fun to be around.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
When someone hurts you, then they attack and grind your foe into the ground.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Imagine a party with dresses and cake, and singing and dancing and cake. And there's a magic act that saws Regina in half, and this time it will take.
Now that's a party.
A revenge party, a party that ends with somebody's head on a spike.
Whoa, whoa.
It's a revenge party with your two best friends. It's like a party with revenge is what it's like. For this to work, you're gonna have to pretend like you still like them. Can you do it?
Yes. Hey, girl. Hey, Regina wanted me to tell you that she tried to talk to Aaron, but he just wanted her back, and that's not Regina's fault.
I get it. I just hope I can still have lunch with you guys.
Oh, of course.
It's a revenge party, a party that ends with entrails all over the lawn. It's a revenge party with your two best friends.
And I end up with Erin when she's gone.
Yes, Caddy.
I end up with Erin when she's gone.
What's Regina doing? What's Regina wearing? Is she dating Aaron? Regina, Regina, she has everything. She gets everything. Regina, Regina, Regina. Next, we take away Regina's only achievement, being a hot person.
What is that? Ugh, I'm so fat and disgusting. I use these Caltine diet bars when I need to lose weight.
I need to lose 3 pounds. Bring me a whole bucket.